Hello viewers, Super GT here. Welcome back to plenty more crashes, smashes, carnage and some revenge at the end. So, you can see here the Ferrari 488 GTB stock car challenge number 3 or 4 in this game. I don't know, I can't remember, but it doesn't matter. You get the gist of it by now. No tuning, no upgrades, and beat as many people as possible basically. It's quite simple. So the Ferrari 488, we come to the natural home of Italian motorsport at Monza. We also come to the natural home of first corner carnage at Monza. And coming through, you can see plenty of punting going on. My game even crashed a bit there. The recording crashed slightly. That's how bad it is at Monza first corner. That the Elgato device couldn't even keep up, and it crashed itself. We get 3 and 10th place. The idea really is just to beat as many people as we can, because it's just fun, you know, just to challenge yourself every now and then. But I've got a funny feeling here, because as we come into here, if someone asks me sum up Forza Motorsport 7 in 5 seconds, I'll just show them this, because as we go in, BMW smashes the wall, Viper on its nose, Ferrari F50 comes weighing in, tyres flying everywhere, not much racing going on, just absolute carnage, just death basically. It's a scene of absolute misery and destruction, and it really does summarise Forza Motorsport 7 quite well, or at least the online portion. But then again, the single player can be like that because the driver tires are very aggressive. We find ourselves in 5th place after all that. Getting on the podium is normally a very hard ask in a stock car. Obviously it depends on what the stock car is and what the track is. That is a very important factor, but typically a podium is a hard ask. It's hard to get a podium, and to get a win is especially difficult. I have done it before. I think it was the Honda NSX, the 92 Honda NSX. I did manage it on Forza 6 to get a win in a stock car. You see there though, I'm going wide at the Ascari chicane. That's the one thing that is really hard about stock cars, the brakes. But then coming into turn 1, I'm going to perhaps demonstrate that it's not always too bad if you get your braking point right up the inside of the Porsche, and he kind of, I don't know what he's trying to do, but he only succeeded in driving straight into a tyre wall. So unless that was his plan, then he hasn't succeeded in really doing anything there. But we find ourselves now in 4th place, so I guess one place closer to that podium, although the podium places are a good couple of seconds off the road. It's going to be unlikely I'll be able to catch up, and it's only a 3-lap race. I now have a Camaro right on my tail, the O2 Camaro, renowned for being a very good straight line speed car, at least in this class. I've seen it good in A class, I think. S class, I know that it's a very fast car, so probably won't be able to beat it. All I can do really is just block him as much as possible, but as soon as we get to a straight, you know, I've just got no chance unless I weave left and right like a zigzag to try and block him. It's not quite going to happen here. So he goes through, up into 4th. I'm back down to 5th, but 5th's still a good place. The 3.9 litre engine in this car, really not too bad. You see, I mean, I didn't lose a huge amount of time compared to the Camaro. On the exit, he just gets, well, I was just a bit too hasty there, and I kind of back off to let him stay ahead. Luckily, he was able to keep control of the car, and I just let him go back into his 4th place. He'll pull away. I don't think he would have caught 3rd place anyway. It's coming into the final corner, Parabolica. So it's not too bad once you know your braking points. You just can't get too overconfident basically. And then on the exit, I'm going to skip forward a lap because nothing really happened on that final lap. It's pretty much exactly the same situation. Still in 5th place. Couldn't have crossed the line. Not a bad race. Or not a bad result. It was a bad race. It wasn't really a race at all. There's the lap times. It's actually slightly quicker than the guy in 2nd. But we're going to move to Lime Rock. So I want you to take note of the guy on the left hand side in the Formula Mazda. He's called Pissed Off a lot, and he's about to make me pissed off quite a lot. As we go into the first corner, you know what's going to happen. He's just going to not brake, push me on, and cause a massive knock-on effect. So one selfish guy caused all that. He's pushed it off the guy again, and then he's smashing himself off. Unbelievable stuff really. Well, actually it's fully believable. I'm quite used to that by now. Through the left hander into the right, he's just going to go for a move that just I mean, that move's just not really there, was it? He kind of just he forced the way open, and I'm off onto the grass. Now you're just going to have to remember that guy. Just remember that. Bear him in mind for later. We're trying to get back past a couple of guys here. I mean, he's in the Formula Mazda around Lime Rock. It's unlikely that I'll be able to catch up with him in this race to really dish out some punishment. But I think later on he will meet his true fate. So on the exit of the final corner, I think there's an F40 going very wide. Now this isn't really going to be the kind of track that I'm going to succeed at. This is mostly a handling circuit. It's a very stiff stock car, and it's good in a straight line, but it's not really good around the corners. So I am really going to struggle through these long bends. And I mean, there's not really many long straights here at all. The main straight not that long, in all honesty. Now through this lap, you see here, not really making any impressions of the guys ahead. In fact, they're pulling away there. Now this kind of happened a couple of laps later. The F40 goes very wide. I go through. Then a lap later, I go very wide, and then he goes through on me. There he goes. And then one corner later, he goes very wide, and I go back past him. So plenty of mistakes on offer. So absolutely crap driving from everyone involved, myself included. And then we just got this guy here. He's just given up all hope and just parked it on the side and just thought, screw this. This is a load of crap. I'm not even going to bother racing. Which, you know what? That's a very relatable mood. I really do relate to that sometimes. And then again, I made exactly the same mistake. You know, you shouldn't make the same mistake twice. I've made it 3 times, and just about going to stay ahead of a Lamborghini. So I'm going to try to stay in the top 10. Let's see if I can block this guy and try to finish in 10th place. Not going to be easy, but although Lime Rock, as long as you just keep to the racing line, unless the other guy's got tons more power than you, it is actually fairly easy to keep someone behind you at Lime Rock. And obviously if you don't go flying off at the first corner like I have done 3 times already. So coming up the hill, it looks like he's got a run, and this corner here is not really, it's not really a long braking zone, so it's not really easy to go flying up the inside late on the brakes. Final corner again, not really a long braking zone, so no real chance for him to lunge one up the inside like a Datsun dive bomb. So we're going to cross the line in 9th place actually in the end, and just totally flip over and destroy my car. We move then to Virginia International Raceway at night. So another one of the many villains of this video is right ahead of us there in the Ferrari. So you'd think it'd be nice because we're in the same brand of car. It's not quite going to happen, not at the end of this lap at least. So we're going to pull away in the lead here. Yes, in the lead. Let's see if we can win this race. If we can win a race, that is an absolute miracle really. But it just shows you, I think, once you get track position, just keep calm, hit your braking points, and a lot of the time the rest of the pack will just implode on each other, just smash each other off. You've got to really make a big impression on lap 1, I think, while everyone is really close and jostling for position. That's really where you can make the biggest difference. I always think back to Sebastian Vettel in 2011 in Formula 1. He would just, on lap 1, just pull out 2 seconds, and then you just never see him again. So I'm going to go very wide here, pushing a little bit too much. So a couple of guys, second and third, are just going to reel me in slightly. We can see the speed of this car though, onto the back straight. We are running the infield here. So on the back straight, this car really does propel along nicely. So I mean, it's not the top speed or the acceleration really that hampers this car at all. It's just, as I've said, the brakes and the overall handling. So into the infield section, I've kind of nailed my braking point there. Going deep and then come back for that second apex. So the infield here is tricky. It's not an easy one to get right. Lots of undulations. This corner here is especially difficult. Can lure you into braking really late, but you don't really want to brake too late there at all. Well, you don't want to brake too late at any corner, obviously, but that one especially, you can go very wide on the exit. Coming up into a very disastrous corner here, because you come into over a fast crest, and it's caught me out. I'm into the wall, just about smashed the edge of that wall. And you can see the gap there. The skyline goes through. There was a good 2-3 seconds I was ahead there by. And it's possible to win, just based on that little performance on lap 1, obviously before I hit the wall. Because it's only a 2-lap race. Once you get a 3-second gap, I mean, that's normally enough to win. So I'm just going to graze that wall. Then we have our Ferrari teammate smash us in the rear end. Brutal stuff. And I don't really have a clip of me getting any revenge on this guy, but of course I'm a marshal. Well, he did spin off there and I did get back past him. And I did kick him out and get him banned. So, and it wasn't just me he was smashing off. He smashed off like 30 people in this race, even though there's less than 24. Anyway, we moved to Mount Panorama. Once again, a notoriously bad first corner around Mount Panorama. And I've started 4th place. Not too bad. We look around the outside of the skyline. No contact involved. Pretty good. We're going to look behind at scenes of absolute devastation. Oh, boys. Let's take a look at this, right? The Celine S7. Oh my! There's a Toyota Hilux in the bloody race. Coming in, it just doesn't brake. Smash, flips everyone over. And wouldn't you know, the guy who created all the chaos actually just gets away with it. Justice certainly wasn't served in this instance. But we're going to pull away here and pull up into second. You see just how quick this car is on the straight. I'm going to struggle around the mountain section, but the 2 very long straights here at Mount Panorama definitely helped me, helped my cause. So up in second. I think obviously qualifying, where you qualify on the grid is really important. If you're going to qualify in the middle, then you're probably going to get killed. I say 80% chance that you're going to die at turn 1. If you qualify in the top 2 rows, top 4, I'll say that goes down to maybe 79%, but still better odds. So keeping these 2 guys behind me just about, making my car as wide as possible, but they don't really have a way past me at this moment. Over the crest, into the fast left. So I suppose, as I've said earlier, just not trying to push too much. I think you really have to drive within your limits, and you have to understand that many of the other cars, well, all of the other cars are tuned up better than what this car is. 0 tuning, 0 upgrades. So I can't really just push myself too much to try and match these guys, because if anyone good is in the lobby, I'm not going to be able to match them, not in a stock car. I can do my best, and that is what I'm trying to do. Going through the chase, just get on the brakes a little bit too late. And by a little bit too late, I mean about 20 metres too late. You can see there, going way wide. Trying to just rejoin the track, just graze the wall. Don't want to come back on at 90 degrees. A Donkerwalk comes hitting me into the rear end, tries to give me a boost. So down to 4th place. Now this is lap 2, up in 3rd place, and yes, you guessed it, there's a freaking Toyota Hilux now blocking the circuit. This is actually a realistic experience of motorsport, because I don't know if you watched the 2017 Brazilian Grand Prix, there was actually a Toyota Hilux blocking Lewis Hamilton, and then he flipped him over and murdered him. It's actually a true story. So this is actually really authentic right now, and I'm really pleased that they've really tried to add in all the realism. At the end, finishing 3rd. So not a bad race actually, finishing in 3rd place. So this is going to be a really cool one. I enjoyed this, an actual good race. So far, I mean, lots of crashing, lots of carnage, lots of smashing, and let's actually bring you a good race. So first corner, no collisions to report of. The Mercedes did initially get back past him, but then he had some decent set of brakes on that thing. So still in 3rd place, still keeping up with him. So Road Atlanta, this is the club version. So we're going to swing through the S's and then turn right. So a very long right-hander. Once again, this is going to be a key weakness of this car, the long corners. The car just is very stiff. It doesn't really want to turn through these long corners at all. But once you can get that power down onto this back straight, it is keeping up. I'm more than keeping up with the Skyline and the Mercedes in this section so far. So 5 laps in this race, and then the F40 is going to get a very nice exit. So a nice cut back on me. So fair play to him for doing that. Going for the final corner, Skyline almost wide. The F40 takes a little bit too much speed, goes onto the grass, 3 abreast. Coming into turn 1, back up into 2nd place. I'm not going to overshoot my braking point. Actually, maybe a tiny bit. That's going to give me a poor exit. The Skyline went wide. Aston Martin comes out of nowhere, comes up into 2nd place. So fair play to him for manipulating that whole situation in his favour. So he goes up from 5th into 2nd. So he's done well out of all of that. I've stayed up in 3rd place. Actually, I'll gain from 4th to 3rd. Not too bad. The Mercedes pulling way up in the lead. Probably expect that. Won't be able to really keep up with him for this entire race. So we might see these 2 guys disappear. They seem really quick. The Aston Martin is a very fast car for this class. So a bit of a gap developing behind. So this is really where you have to try and make the most of your time or your space basically. I don't need to defend, so I just need to really maximise my lap time here. I think any time I gain now is important. Anytime you gain early in a race, you might really need it later. So if I gain a second on this lap here, that could be crucial later. So into the first corner, the Skyline had a good exit for the final turn, but doesn't quite have the run. A drag race then to the S's, and I'm just about going to get in ahead as it filters to the left there initially. I was on the left, so that kind of worked in my favour. So staying in third place for now. Second place just pulling away slightly. I'm not really going to be able to keep up with him, so it looks like it's going to be a defensive race for third. Third seems to be about the best I can get so far. I think I might have won that VIR race if not for the tyre collision, but third place is still very good in a stock car. Back past the Skyline, it's going to be a cool move into the final chicane, back on the brakes, and with stock car brakes that's a very impressive move, I think, if I may say so myself. Down the hill into the final corner, 2 laps remain to cross the line to go on to lap number 4. The Skyline's still on my tail. I'm just hinting at possibly a group behind slowly gaining on us, so I'm not really setting the world on fire with these lap times. And of course, if there's anyone decent in the lobby with a decent enough car, they should be gaining on me and the Skyline behind. Through the S's, I'm taking the lines about as good as I can, but there's only so much speed you can carry through in a stock car. Now he's going to undercut me here, is he? I'm just going to accelerate out to the left hand side. No, he's not quite got the pace to do it, so I should be safe into the chicane as I do have the straight line advantage. Just braking at the bottom of that hill as we go down and then into the apex very nicely. Apex 1, apex 2 through there very well. Going to have a brief look behind. He's right on my tail still, being very patient. He's picking the right place to go for this move if he is going to make it, maximising the track width there. And again, as soon as I get going on the straights, he's got no chance. He really does have to make the most of my poor braking by just going for an absolute lunge from hell. So you can see that the group is catching. The race is getting ever more tense on this now, the final lap. 5 of 5. How can I go about keeping third place? Let's see. Into the long right. Is he going to be able to undercut me this time? I'm going to go for a very narrow line, prevent him from going for that undercut. And as I do go out wide, he just about goes for it. Not quite though. I'm going to skip behind here. Look at this Corvette who's coming out of nowhere. I wondered how this guy got so quick. He's going to go up the inside of the Skyline, take the biggest cut of all time. It's turned into a lawnmower temporarily. And coming up into the final corner, that is me just ahead. Into the final turn, again taking a massive cut, going into the wall, carnage, collision, and I just about escaped with my life in third place. The group was coming, they were cutting corners to get there, but they just about did not do enough, and I stayed in third place, so not a bad race there. But we're going to move to the final race of the video. Our good friend here pissed off a lot. We saw him at Lime Rock punting me many times into the first corner. That's a decent line, and I'm up into second place. That's about as well as you could have taken that. Just keep it on the inside, just hoping that you just do not get killed in the rear end. And this time, the 1 out of 100 times I didn't, so I'm glad to bring you this 1 out of 100 time where you don't get murdered. Good times. So then into the infield section here at Daytona through the fast kink. Going to move over to the left hand side slightly, get on the brakes. The car not taking that one too badly actually, hitting the apex pretty much perfectly, and then coming out onto the middle straight onto the left hander, which brings us back onto the oval, and we are through there okay. So then onto the back straight, we can test out the straight line speed of this car. So the Daytona oval here, a good testing ground for the top speed cars, and you do often see here lots of people choosing cars which are just awful in the infield, but then as soon as you get to the straight they just absolutely fly. Kind of like this guy here in what looks like a Lotus Esprit. Past the the Donkavort, or the Caterham, quite easily. That guy goes way wide, and then here's our friend. He's just going to murder us, you know, just pushes into the wall, and that's me dead, basically. So, you know, there's only so much pain that one man can take before he has to strike back. You guys have, you've asked many times to see the revenge, to see the fight back from Super GT against the scum, against the Jeeters, against the Rammers, and you're about to witness something truly brilliant, truly amazing. Because perhaps I don't do this enough. You know, I do have martial powers now, I can ban people legit, but sometimes people just need to feel the force. They need to feel the true force of 66,000 subscribers. And on this fateful day, you've made the biggest mistake of your life. You have messed with the wrong person.
And his name is
Super GT.
Son, where'd you find this?
Delete yourself.
Who can say